Today we are going to see how many things we can make from scratch, increasing our minerals and decreasing the chemicals. With some homemade Lawry all-purpose seasoning salt, we're going to vacuum seal some of our beans. We're going to make our own garlic powder. We're going to make our own chicken bouillon. I'm going to share my recipe for this delicious broth and some white bean chicken chili.
Today we are going to be making some very tasty chicken bouillon. Let's see if we can get it as tasty as this. This is my favorite.
Materials you're going to need is an oven-safe pan, some chicken, and some vegetables. You're also going to be needing some spices as well. And I will leave the entire recipe in the description box for everybody, as always. So we're going to start off by searing our chicken. Now you can use chicken breast, you can use chicken legs, use whatever part of the chicken you would like. And you really don't have to sear it the way that I am. I just do that so that it will add a little bit more flavor, like an more of an umami-ness to the chicken. Now you're just going to add in your vegetables. I'm adding carrots, celery, onion, and garlic, but you can add whatever vegetables you'd like, whatever flavor profile you would like for your bouillon to taste. There are lots of different ways you can make chicken bouillon. This is just one. So after I get all of my vegetables chopped up, I'm gonna put them all in the pan. I'm going to be adding about 1.5 teaspoons of salt and about 1/2 cup of water. And I'm going to cook this with the lid on at 425 degrees for about an hour. See that? I got a lot of roosters in my sink waiting for me to cook up. Gonna be making a lot of yummy stock today. Now, once your chicken and vegetables are fully cooked, you're just gonna wanna chop up about 2 cups of the chicken in my bouillon because I wanted it more chickeny. So that's why I said you can do this many ways. This is just the way that I did it today. So I forgot to mention that this is going to be a chicken stock concentrated paste, kind of like the better than bouillon chicken stock.
About 2 cups of chicken.
You can just use about 4 chicken thighs or 1 chicken breast for this recipe as well. So now you're just going to want to blend everything together until like it's no more chunks left in it. I decided to use my food processor because it made it a lot faster. Now after you blitz all this up into a paste, you're going to add in all of your seasonings. So my full recipe for this, I used about 2 cups of chicken, 1 cup of salt, plus an extra 1.5 teaspoons for roasting the chicken, 1 large onion, 2 teaspoons of rosemary, 2 teaspoons of thyme, 1 crushed bay leaf, 4 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, 8 cloves of garlic, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of pepper, 1 teaspoon of oregano, and 1 teaspoon of coriander, plus 1/2 cup of water. Now after I blended all of that up, I just put down some parchment paper on a cookie sheet and I tried to spread this as evenly as possible. After you get it all spreaded nice and evenly, you're going to put it in your freezer for at least 4 or 5 hours so that you can get it nice and stiffened up. After that, you're just going to pull it out, and this is what it looks like. You're going to let it set at room temperature for probably about 10 minutes because when I tried to do it right away, it was pretty hard to try to cut. So I let it sit on the counter or on the table for about 10 minutes and I came back and it was a lot easier to cut with my bench scraper here. And I just cut them in squares. You don't have to, I wasn't being like precise about it. I was just cutting them up in little squares. Now the way that I'm storing this is I cut up a whole bunch of pieces of parchment paper so that it'd fit into my rectangle Pyrex dish over here. And I'm just putting parchment paper in between so that they don't stick together when I want to get them out. And now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like when it's reconstituted after being frozen. And it turned out really nice. It dissolved very quickly. Now initially I wanted to dehydrate all this, but my dehydrator ended up quitting on me. So the next batch that I make, when I do get a dehydrator, I will be doing that so that it will be shelf stable. But for now, I'm happy with just pulling some out of my freezer anytime that I need some chicken bouillon. Isn't that beautiful? By the way, I wanted to show you guys this. Don't throw away your bacon grease. You can use that to cook with. Just strain out all the bits that's in there and pop it in your refrigerator. Adds the best flavor to your food. So now that we have our vacuum sealer for jars, I wanted to get a lot of our beans out of the basement and vacuum seal them so that way we can prolong their shelf life. So the normal shelf life of beans is 2 to 3 years, but if you vacuum seal them, they will last for 10 to 12 years. Beans are an essential source of protein and are a staple food worldwide, making them a valuable, non-perishable food item. I've got a lot of questions about this vacuum sealer that I use in previous videos. It's called a Saker Plus vacuum sealer for mason jars. And it vacuum seals mason jars with wide mouth and regular mouth mason jar types. My husband purchased this for me from Amazon, but you can get them on Amazon for a really good price. Anywhere from $26.99 to $49.99. Vacuum sealing will not replace canning, just to make that clear. And anything perishable will need to be stored in the fridge or freezer. And another great way to label your jars and stuff is by using painter's tape. And I got that tip from one of my viewers, so thank you very much for that. We're also going to be vacuum sealing our lentils in jars as well. But I wanted to show you guys something that I recently found out. These banana pepper jars, the Macetta, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. You can vacuum seal these. I was just curious to see what other jars I could use for this, and this worked. I was really surprised. This recipe is like your Lawry seasoning salt, but I think it's better. And I'm using 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of marjoram, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of paprika, a half a teaspoon of curry powder, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and 3 tablespoons of salt. And you can use this on corn, your meat, your Chex Mix, salad, potatoes, fish. It's delicious. I'm going to walk you through step by step of what I did to achieve this delicious flavor in the stock. So the first thing I'm going to do is season this up with some of my Lawry seasoning salt, and then I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes on high pressure in the Instant Pot. After the first initial cook, this is all the juice that was left over. Now I didn't put any water in this. This is just what came from the chicken. Now I'm going to take some of the chicken off so that I can make some salad and then put the rest back in. Now I filled this up with about 6 cups of water, and then I used some of my kombucha vinegar to help with not only the flavor, but to help leach out all the goodness out of the bones. Yes, you can use kombucha instead of apple cider vinegar. And I used about 2 tablespoons. Now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon black peppercorns, 2 bay leaves, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of coriander seed, 1 teaspoon of rosemary, 1 teaspoon of thyme, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to cook this for 1 hour and 30 minutes with a natural release. And this stock broth came out so delicious. This was probably the best tasting stock that I have made in a long time. I'm sharing this because a lot of people say, give recipes on how to make bone broth or stock, and they say add whatever flavors you want, and that's true. But I think it's easier if somebody gives you a recipe on something that already tastes delicious, and then you can build on it from your taste from there. Now this is what it looks like after sitting in my fridge for about 5 hours, and I'm just breaking it up, and as soon as you warm it up, it becomes like this luxurious, I guess you can call it, broth. Not only is this delicious, but it is packed full of vitamins and minerals. So now with our broth and our beans, we're going to make some white chicken chili. We're going to start off by adding about a tablespoon of olive oil and 1 chopped onion. We're going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of some kosher salt and cook until this is about translucent. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Give all that a quick stir and bloom the spices for a minute. Then you're going to add 2 cups of your luxurious broth. One bay leaf and 4 cups of white beans. I'm using navy beans, but you can use whatever beans you want. And then you're going to add your 1 pound of chicken. Give all that a quick stir. Now add 2 tablespoons of cilantro, and then you're going to add 1 block of Philadelphia cream cheese. Let all that warm up, get all nice and melty, and that's it. This experiment started off in my dehydrator, but my dehydrator stopped working on me in the middle of it drying out. So I put it on a cookie sheet and let it sit in the oven for about 3 hours at 170 degrees. And it feels like it's dry. If you're gonna do your garlic, if you're gonna dehydrate your garlic, dry it out to make yourself some garlic powder, grind it up first, because I didn't, and my food processors aren't handling it. So I'm gonna use my coffee grinder, see if that will work. The coffee grinder did work, but I won't be doing that again. I will definitely be grinding up my garlic first and then either dehydrating or roasting it, because this took a while. But I'm glad that I did it, because this was our garlic that we grew last year, and I didn't want to waste any of it, and it's turned out beautiful. And if you want to do the same thing, just go and purchase you some garlic. And you can already get it peeled. They have those in the bags if you want. And do the same thing that I did. Either roast it in the oven at, you know, the lowest temperature for a few hours, or put it in your dehydrator. And here, for some reason, garlic powder, especially at my stores, are not very cheap. They're pretty expensive. So making this did save a little bit of money. But if you want to save yourself some time, do yourself a favor and grind it up first. So I'm just filling up my garlic jar with what I need, and then I'm going to vacuum seal the rest of it so it will stay nice and fresh. Now I would like to say thank you so much for everybody that has stopped by to visit. If you haven't yet already, please like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.